It's not an AMA. Short recap about the games. This is a play-by-play. No Instagram, these holograms. Boy, these ain't the same. This out Harmon, you know we do things a different way. We got in the room, come join the team, but don't be in the way. Stay tuned, join that Patreon. We do giveaways. Make nutted than ATM, you know they on a different wave. Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, pick a day. This out Harmon, you know that we glad you here today. This not an AMA. This not an AMA. This not an AMA. Short recap about the game. This is the play-by-play.
Look at that, Adam. We're here, week 5 recap, and we're on time. I'm gonna call it. We're on time. That's fucking close enough, buddy.
This is exactly on time, buddy. I mean, we got the intro started at 7:30. You can't beat it. Because, like, here's the thing. I'm as ready as one could be for the recap. I mean, let's just call it what it is. I watched the majority of the game that was, locally televised to see about this kid, Jaden Daniels, see what all the fuss was about. And Mike, he lived up to the hype. Let's just say Jaden Daniels absolutely lived up to the hype. Here's the reason I say it, too. Multiple times early in the game, the Browns, actually, their defense was working. They were putting him in tough situations. Two plays on back-to-back drives in which he answered coming off of a pick in the red zone, right? So his first drive, he had the pick in the red zone. Answers in just situations where you can't do anything but just see what the kid has to offer on the combat field, right? Like, they're just plays that out of the box, and they didn't go scripted for him today, and he still absolutely led this team to obliterate a sorry excuse for the other team. But I mean, as advertised, I would say Jaden Daniels today.
Boom. Tough test, too. I mean, we talked about it in the offseason with Jaden Daniels. I was excited because the early portion of the schedule looked easy-ish, right? And he went out and flat out dominated, exceeded expectations. And this was going to be the first week where I was like, man, tough defense, tough secondary, Myles fucking Garrett, Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa. I love that guy, man.
What are you doing now?
Absolutely love that guy.
What are you doing? Bum rushing Jaden Daniels on this blitz without any type of principles of contain. Like, the one thing you can guarantee is that he's gonna try to hit a move on you. Like, that was
it's
with that damn helmet on too. He just looked like a clown a little bit extra.
It's kind of like Lamar Jackson too, because when you watch him move, he doesn't look like he's putting that much effort into it. Looks like he's gliding out there, right? And I think a lot of defenders, even like Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa, I love saying that name. He's ridiculously athletic for a linebacker, but I think they misjudge how fucking athletic Jaden Daniels actually is until they just run around him.
Well, that or over emphasize or judge their ability to be a him type athlete.
It's probably that guardian cap on his head, slowed him down.
That's what I was gonna say. That guardian cap, I can't with these guardian caps, dude. They kill me personally. Terry McLaurin.
Got a deep ball, baby. Got a deep ball. They finally started connecting on these in the last couple of weeks, and you love to fucking see it, man.
Yeah, I mean,
it's going to open this offense up even more than what it already has been.
Yeah, I think the crazy part was it looked like it was going to end up being a tougher day for him. But the thing is, I guess now, with the way the offense seems to be more opened up every week for the Commanders, and this is in a game where I think, as I already acknowledged, it didn't go as well for them early as they would hoped. There's so many times where he could just take the top off. And the one thing that's still really impressive to me about him is the accuracy on deep throws, whether they're super open or not, been pretty spot on, whether he's on the move, in the pocket. So Commanders as a whole, I think the team, nothing but positive stuff to say. Eckler looked pretty good in his spots, that he was given the rock. And then Brian Robinson's obviously. Man. Yeah, man.
A 50-yarder.
I know. Remember when people were ready to say he's running in mud last year, Mike? He's totally dead. I mean, listen, he's not going back to the old Eckler. Let's just stop it. That's not happening. But this is beyond what I think you would expect from him at this point.
He's looking spry.
Yeah.
Couple big takeaways for me, Adam. The first couple guys you showed. Terry McLaurin's worth a first on your contending teams. Like, I want to go get Terry McLaurin. And how about this one? I'm ready to do it. Week 5, Jaden Daniels, Dynasty QB1 overall.
What someone actually put it on here. Is it okay to ask for Josh Allen plus for my Jaden Daniels yet?
Yep, do it, JCap. Do it. You better be giving me a second.
I mean, there's no person. I don't think there's any person in the world quite doing this, but I mean, hell, it's. I'm not going to tell you it's wrong. I can't tell you it's wrong. You're not going to get a deal done, but yeah, I mean, it's. Listen, I think if you want to tell people like, take them, rip this Jaden Daniels share out of my cold fucking dead hands, then yeah, go ahead and do that. Let them know.
Definitely.
Let them know.
Let's go, JCap. Jaden Daniels is the mood, baby.
Brian Robinson obviously not fully healthy, but even still, a couple touchdowns. I mean, it's all good.
7 fucking carries, but he got you the 2 touchdowns, man. That's all that matters, right?
It's all good over there. Let me just say then, I guess, Mike, here. So the only thing I have to say on the other side of the ball, right? This is because I'm not going to ask you the same question I keep asking you, but to get the same answer. Because that's unfortunately what we still get. If you check this out real quick.
Yeah, we're not changing quarterbacks. We need to play better. I need to coach better, and that's really what it is.
That's what it is? I'll tell you what it is. Because if you're not going to change quarterbacks, then we're going to go with the quarterback that was last seen on the field, Jameis Winston, I pray. Because it's over. This dude, I'm not going to act like the line is great. The line is still in shambles. There's nothing. There is absolutely nothing out of this guy named Deshaun Watson. I'm ready. Forget the money. Let's move on. Like, it is so bad, dude. It is so bad. Show me Jameis Winston does the exact same thing with no better results, and then we can go back to him if you prove that to me. Because right now I just watched Joe Flacco yet again go ham for the Colts. All I know is every time this guy plays for us, it's actually the worst situation we have since he's been here.
I got nothing for you this week. I've defended him for 4 weeks of this season, Adam, and after watching today, I'm like, I got nothing, man. Dude's cooked. The only thing I will say, though, Jameis Winston is also shit. So, I mean, you guys have fun with that.
No, my point is, prove to me he's as bad.
Prove to me he's as shitty.
Yeah. That's what I want to see. That's what I'm there. All right, let's. Speaking of which,
you fucking guys cannot run the ball to save your fucking life. Man.
Run the ball, throw the ball. It is. There's no point. The offense is trash. The offense is absolutely garbage. Let's get. You know what? Let's pretend for a second that the Browns didn't leave. Because if you did do that, then you would have what we have is the Ravens now, who might end up getting a win here. Zay Flowers had himself a hell of a ball game.
Fizz and I were talking about this on Fizzle Friday. Little predictions for the games. This was one of the best ones on paper anyways, and I predicted a high-scoring game and Zay Flowers to have himself a ball game, and here we are. This is why I do what I do, Chris Womble. I see your fucking comments in there. Some people are good at this, some people aren't. That's why I'm sitting up here. Zay Flowers, though, I love it. Being used downfield, too. Not just screens, crossers, short digs. Downfield. I love it. Love to see the usage out of him. It was a rough day for Mr. Derrick Henry there for a while too, Adam. But broke off the game winner, if you want to call it that. You can hold him down for so long, you just can't contain him entirely.
I'm with you. Well, I was trying to get a hologram switched and unmute at the same time.
I gotcha.
Derrick Henry though. He was, bottled up for a lot of the game and then hit you with the 51-yard run. It's kind of crazy how that game, you have 2 botched, like it's overtime. Still in the NFL, I think it's really weird that you still could have a team that doesn't get a chance to get the ball in overtime. Both teams, it didn't matter in this one, though, because Lamar, trying to get the snap off, takes his eye off the ball once it finally does come. He's, screaming for it, hollering for it, and then it comes and takes his eye off the ball. The botched snap on the Bengals hold, that's just
Tony Romo'd.
two plays that you can't really create typically, and they both were botched in very clutch moments. All for Derrick Henry shortly after to just take one outside too, man. It's crazy. People thought this guy was slow. He goes outside for 51 yards, dude. Like
nuts.
I mean, I think today though should still show you, if you were getting a little bit too comfy, that like there's going to be days where Derrick Henry doesn't have these 20, 30 point massive bombs, right? Yep. But he still found a way, although albeit in overtime when he should have got a gift, to actually make it a pretty darn good return. So I'm curious for you, Mike, right now. We were talking about Jaden Daniels. Then what do you have to say about Lamar Jackson?
Truth, man. Love Lamar. Lamar's on a mission this year. Now, kind of started rough to begin the year. I expected a lot more out of him at Kansas City, but that's a tough environment to face the Super Bowl champions on opening night. Almost won that fucking game too. Let us not forget. I mean, he's a toe away for being a winner on that night. But I love you too, Chris. Lamar is good. Lamar is fucking good. Lamar needs to be in that tier 1 dynasty quarterback conversation.
Well, I mean, I feel like he should be. I feel like if he's not, it's
bias.
Just someone's personal preference. Like, everybody has their own personal preference, but I think for the most part, you look at it, it's if you're talking the quarterbacks in fantasy football, Mike, Keep Trade Cut's actually reflective of this now. He's quarterback 3. I think Jaden. I keep wanting to say Jaden Daniels. Everyone keeps wanting to say Jaden Daniels. He's playing so damn well. He also just destroyed my team. That's all I watched for the 1 o'clocks. Jalen Hurts, though, Mike, he's not performing like I think we wanted to see in fantasy. And that's the only reason I think he's really down to the quarterback 7 ranking. But what you're seeing here is Allen, Daniels, Hurts, Kyler's now at quarterback 8. It's a theme of one that we don't have to keep giving you the broken record on, Mike. You know, we know what it is. It's the Konami code, and Lamar Jackson is just the thing about it for me with him is he still is close to, if not offering, the same ceiling as the other two guys in my personal estimation so far. You saw it today. They're trailing. Like, I mean, I don't know how many guys will actually try to attempt that throw where he's going out of bounds. He kind of pump fakes it, then makes the throw across his body. Isaiah Likely's running across the field the other way, gets hit as he's throwing, puts it on the money. I don't know how many guys will attempt it, but that's a throw that I know people say he can't throw, and I definitely get it. His accuracy concerns are certainly real, but Mike, I mean, that type of throw is ridiculous. He has a lot of upside with his passing too at this point in his career.
Yeah, I would say after 348 yards and 4 touchdowns, I'd say he's got some pretty good upside as a passer.
Well, Mike, you just hit him with raw stats, and people don't like to acknowledge it.
Well, he made Rashad Bateman and Charlie Kohler relevant today. So
yeah, I'm not ready to do the Charlie Kohler hologram. I'm ready to pour one out for Mark. It's so tough. It's so tough.
Mark actually had a best game of the
3
season.
catches? Yeah, that's
4
there
for
you
55,
go.
Baby.
He had his best game of the season. I saw he had 3, so he got 4th. He had his best game of the season to be outshadowed by the other 2 tight ends on his team. Not 1, but 2. What the hell's going on? Let's get to the Bengals, all right? T. Higgins, Mike.
Let's get to the Bengals.
T. Higgins.
How? Made the thumbnail.
How about that? Just as I put him on the thumbnail, and, T. Higgins dominates, it literally 2 minutes later, Chase runs away with his 70-yard, second long, ridiculous touchdown to outshine T. Higgins as he normally does. But even with that said, though, T. Higgins today, 2 touchdowns, alpha-level targets. I'm not going to act like his floor is the safest, but I think you saw today at least the ceiling does still exist, even though we may have wanted to kind of – we haven't seen it. We wanted to put it to bed like it didn't. It's not there anymore. It's still there. Still there.
Back-to-back really good games from T. Higgins.
This one's going to end up being a really big warp week for him too.
Is it crazy that the Bengals have looked their best with T. Higgins back in the lineup? It's almost like he's good.
It's also for the Bengals 1-4 now. So
the only reason his floor isn't good is because he's got these things called hamstrings, and sometimes his are made of paper mache. It feels like he's like, yeah, I'm not.
Well, his floor, that as well as like, there's been times this year and last year where Burrow and this offense just haven't been cranking too. Good. So that's been part of the issue as well. They were
cooking today. Everybody was cooking unless you were a running back on the Bengals.
Dude, I was gonna say, if Burrow can keep this up,
then you got cooked.
He's gonna have some people big angry coming at us here soon, Mike. You can bet that for sure.
After we just buried him.
I'm talking about big angry, buddy. Very big angry. Because let's go ahead and put up Slim Shady. You know, he doesn't get a different hologram than this all year. I'm sorry. This is it. This is the one. Look at that guy, huh?
He was playing.
He had a hell of a game today. The other crazy part, though, for how great he played today, to really just, I think for fantasy, what we like to see, he basically just peppered all of that yardage and touchdowns into T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, which is like
perfect.
That's what we want. Leave Gesicki, leave all these other turds out of it for now. Okay, let us just get we want the meat and potatoes on this, you know?
Yeah, pump this bullshit Eric All hype that was like going out. Like we're good.
Let me ask you right now.
I think shitty tight ends with targets.
One thing I'm curious about what your take here. Chase Brown, like usage and how he's playing, starting to look, I say, increasingly good by the week. Where are you at with Chase Brown versus Zach Moss and the situation here at RB?
Well, it's going to get a little bit more clear because that ankle injury for Zach Moss didn't look like it was a fun one. Like,
it sure did.
Didn't look like he was having a good time. So, might be the only show in town is Chase Brown right now.
I'm curious also a couple things, if that ends up being a good thing for him. I feel like right now, we'll see. Obviously, you want your running backs to get volume. I don't know if he's a back that's built to take back? Yeah, built to take that 20-plus touches on a consistent basis. I'm sure for a week or two it's fine.
In the NFL, he feels more like the Achane type, doesn't he? Like that's kind of how it feels. But you got to remember when he was at Illinois, this was a volume king at Illinois.
Of course.
Right? In that system Brett Bielema runs in the Big Ten, it's just feed him 30 touches a game. So, like, we've seen him do this. We've seen him do it.
Well, I would agree. It's also like a choice. Most of the Big Ten, as you saw this week with Ohio State playing, the Big Ten as a whole isn't all the same. So it's a lot.
That game was 7-0 at halftime.
It's a lot of JV type defenses out here relative to the NFL, I guess is what I'm saying though. So I get you. Yeah, if you didn't know that was coming, I'm already rocking the Garrett Wilson, but I get you. I think it's great. It's great either way though. He's looked very good with his opportunities. The more he gets, so. If you have Chase Brown shares, like in lineup, I think it's a little bit trickier. Now, obviously, at this point, you're starting him if Zach Moss is not playing next week, period. It's Definitely. Not even a discussion. But in best ball, Mike, he's been really nice for best ball teams.
Might be a sneaky buy here, I think. I want to get some Chase Brown. Because it's been pedestrian. It's kind of just been off and on. Like, it hasn't been a whole lot of hype on him.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Zach Moss injury, non-injury is going to propel it into stupid levels, but this might be the last time you're able to buy for early third, late second-ish type
I'm kind of curious to see what it gets to, though, because while it's been, to your point, like, while sneaky, I feel like there's just been this Chase Brown crowd that will not go away. I got a tongue twister there. Let's get to Mike. I wanted to get this guy a blow up because he did, but it was so late in the day. I barely got him a hologram. But let's at least acknowledge Tucker Kraft, buddy. Huh? Yes. Look at Tucker Kraft, dude. I mean, obviously this week it was kind of becoming more and more clear by the week that like this debate, this tight end thing, the Mark Andrews of years past, with a South Carolina tight end you may or may not know, put it to bed. The draft capital's out of the way. This is Tucker Kraft's show. The Luke Musgrave thing, regardless, is not in his way.
Adam, you know when it was clear for us?
Well, that was a while ago, but let's not be
a year and a half ago in April.
Let's not rub it. Let's not rub everyone's nose in it. Okay, let's just.
We're gonna rub it in. We're gonna rub it in because that question was posed on the draft stream. Wow, they just drafted another tight end. Who you got between the two? And I said, I'm taking Tucker Kraft all day, every day. Not even a fucking question.
Well, we did. you can check the receipts. You can see I picked him up off waivers. I drafted him in the 4th and 5th round and a lot of rookie drafts.
I've been staunch in the Tucker Kraft over Luke Musgrave for a long time.
The only problem I have now, Mike, is these teams where I haven't liquidated enough tight ends to have it just be Tucker Kraft and Tucker Kraft alone. I was
that close to getting a share Tucker Kraft off you too, just a couple days ago, buddy.
You knew we were having good talks, but Tucker Kraft was, as you put it, a clear distinguishing factor not coming your way.
It was a deal breaker.
So, listen, Mike, he looks good. This offense in general, I'm going to get to here, a laundry list of players to talk about. He looks good, and this offense is one that you just want to have players on. You just want to have pieces of this offense, dude. This is fantasy gold right now.
Except for all that Dontavian Wicks hype I saw. Go buy him for a second.
Well, definitely a down. I would say as far as a down week goes, about as down as it comes. If you were a Wicks truther, but
sorry,
I'm still in on Wicks, just not for maybe as hefty as you were just mentioning there. I'm not doing all that.
No, thank you.
Okay, let's have this discussion. Let's talk about the running back situation, Josh Jacobs, and what do you think of the ground game today?
I mean, he's getting volume, so you like that. The past couple weeks, he hadn't been. He's been splitting way too much with Emmanuel Wilson that probably make you shit your pants. It's good to see him that he got the volume today. He just really didn't do much with that volume. I'm still going to beat this fucking drum when Marshawn Lloyd is back and healthy. He's going to be a major problem for fucking Josh Jacobs. He's going to be a huge problem for Josh Jacobs, especially by the end of the season when we're getting to that playoff time for fantasy. Marshawn Lloyd is probably going to be that dude I want.
I mean,
tough, but he's on IR right now, so
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
may never die.
You're looking at Week 5 stats, right? And it's kind of crazy how. Like, I put it like this. He finished at what? I think it was like RB 9 or 10. Like, it was a good finish. But I guess the thing when I'm watching it is, like, for as many times as he got the rock, dude, if he took this touchdown away from him, which that was a great play by him, by the way. Goal line was tough. He had to, go around the sideline, make it at the pylon. If he doesn't get that touchdown, this is another one of those days that we've seen for the last 4 weeks where it's not, it doesn't give you the same upside. So, one thing I liked last week that I didn't see this week, though, game script probably plays into it. Like, last week he had 6 targets on 4 catches. Like, with Jordan Love back, you're like, okay, maybe some receiving upside again. I want to have a little more receiving upside from him. Obviously, today's a good day for you if you have Jacobs, but I thought today he was in a spot to smash. I really did. I thought this was like, this could be the spot where he goes bananas. Emmanuel Wilson, to your point, not really as much of a didn't play as much of a problem for him as far as his volume went, right?
Nope. How about Jaden Reed? Jaden Reed, again, Matty Kiwoom's bye that he put out on Friday. This is somebody who I've started to warm up to, especially after the Christian Watson thing. And Chris, before you get fucking carried away here in the chat, man, I'll check you here. You may have been in on draft day, but so were Adam and I in the pre-draft process. We had him ranked extremely high, and we were in on him going into last year. Our problem became during the season when the usage was all up and down, all over the fucking map. We had no idea how to value. Adam, I say this, his usage thing, like, I just don't give a fuck anymore. Like, just start Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed's going to be like Jordan Addison for me. People will put out advanced metrics about, snap share and fucking route percentage and whatever the fuck. I don't give a shit because both of these dudes are just big plays waiting to happen at a given notice. So I'm going to roster construct my lineup around the fact that these dudes are going to be my wide receiver 3 or flex at worst. And
I mean,
I'll take the good games with the bad games, but when you get the good blow up games, boom, you're in.
Yeah, the catch he made. First of all, Jordan Love throwing that ball there is just family. Well, let's have a little sidebar here. What do we? That ball, that receiver was the absolute non-throw of all the throws you could have had there. Triple coverage over there. One of the guys just apparently doesn't like the ball track, but that catch he made, absolutely ridiculous. And I mean, he doesn't have a touchdown. He has 78 yards, so it's he'll probably be a wide receiver 2, back end wide receiver 2, high end wide receiver 3 this week.
Good enough.
But Mike, that's starting to feel like more of a floor. I know there was a crazy play in there, but they're also winning the large majority of this game. They didn't have to throw it as much. Josh Jacobs got 19 carries.
Yeah. Jordan Love had a Carson Wentz moment.
I definitely cashed out on some of my Jaden Reed shares, and I'm okay with it where I cashed out because I was getting first plus and stuff, but he's one of these players right now that is just – when you talk about guys, I guess, that can totally take the top off as far as, like, blow-up games, right, that we do the blow-ups here, Jaden Reed could be among the top as far as the blow-up games for the year. So
big fan of taking tops off.
I'm in, yeah, tops off. We'd like to see that. Speaking of which, Mike, let's acknowledge the Rams. Kyren Williams just
keeps turning out points.
And I'll tell you what, man, Corum actually was out there today.
He played.
Dude, he's not dead. How about Tony Romo kind of just like unnecessarily setting Nance up like, hey, that's actually Corum. Like when he thought it was Kyren, right, as he's got his first carry. And he made it so obvious to where you didn't even need to like call his blunder like that. But Corum even got run, but it doesn't matter. Like Corum had 2 red zone touches there. Let's give this kid a chance to get a touchdown. He get absolutely destroyed right before he goes airborne into the goal line. Kyren comes in, cleans it up. This is Kyren's job. This is Kyren's backfield. Yep. Kyren's him while healthy, dude, period. Like, he is him as far as the running back goes.
Enjoy it while you got it. I'm sorry, Kyren Williams. I'm sorry. My apologies. You're that guy. You're that guy. I fucked up on this one. Bad.
As far as the rest of the offense goes,
Jordan Whittington.
I got to get a Whittington. I got to get a Whittington. We don't have it, and
most old player in Dynasty, baby. Jordan Whittington.
It's just this dude. It's kind of amazing that the Rams are staying in these games. Like, you just kind of look and watch, and you think about what's happening. You're like, how in the world? McVay is doing so much more than people realize right now. It's kind of incredible to me.
Coaching his ass off.
It's amazing. Coaching his ass off for another tough loss, but Whittington, Kyren, the rest is honestly kind of whatever. Tutu had some catches early, but he hasn't had one of these games where it's like, holy shit, Tutu Atwell just went bananas. So
Colby Parkinson continues to be a value at the tight end position, just in general, with all the tight ends kind of shit in the bed.
This is a warp tight end if you've ever saw one, right?
A warp tight end, baby. A warp god right there. Colby Parkinson.
Basically, you can have him. If you give any tight end a consequence in a trade, you can tear down to this guy like he's not a part of the trade. So that's that's an option to consider. Let's get to the Niners. Staying in the division here, NFC West. Here's Jordan Mason.
He's good. You like Jordan Mason, man. Didn't get the touchdown that you wanted.
Sure.
Should have had one.
Yep.
Close. But, dude, as long as Jordan Mason's got this job, like, that's somebody that you're going to want on your team starting every single week.
Yeah, to me at this point, Mike, it's just a simple matter of can he stay healthy or not. Like, it. Period. Like, if he's healthy, he's the de facto number 1 in this backfield. They're going to run it through him. There's no second guessing of if there's anyone else coming to take any touch. Guarendo's going to get a touch here or there. Don't get excited. Don't get carried away. It's only going to happen if he goes down. So
come on, man. He got 5 today. 5.
Yep. I got 5 on it. There's no reason.
You look good on this.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is Jordan Mason's job, period. Juwan Jennings, Mike, today. This wide receiver room got a little burst from someone else. We'll get to him in a second.
Is there anybody starting Juwan Jennings still? Like, they still chasing that 40 burger from a couple weeks ago? Is that what they're doing?
I mean, I feel like you got to understand certain people's rosters don't have a ton of better options. However, I mean, yeah, also that too. I'm sure people are still like, maybe I can chase this thing.
Healthy Kittle, healthy Debo, healthy Ayuk. We're still going to chase Juwan Jennings.
I will say, though, I wasn't chasing Juwan Jennings, although an absolute goated week a few weeks ago. I was getting skeptical of when we were going to see this. I very, very, very realized that Brandon Ayuk's talented. He's been a guy that you and I have been very high on for a while. But I was getting skeptical of when this offense would need to feed him and when we would see a featured Brandon Ayuk. It was good to see it today because
did he cut his hair recently too? Man, the dreads are gone.
Are they? I didn't. Yeah, maybe that was it. Maybe he needed to cut it.
I didn't see no dreads today. I don't know if he had them last week or if he cut them 2 weeks ago or whatever, but no Brandon Ayuk dreads today, so maybe it made him faster.
It could have been. It's like really good. I mean, all I know is today the targets came. I think it was 10 or 11. I mean, and he had 9 catches.
12 targets.
12 targets. Okay. So that was huge because, Mike, we basically were seeing every single week him only get 5 targets outside of the week that Debo and Kittle and these guys were out where he had 10. So it's like when everyone's on the field, this isn't even with CMC for the record, but when all these guys are on the field, can we get that Brandon Ayuk game where not only he dominates and does well with the work he's given, but he gets that alpha target load? Today was the day, and put it to bed. Talented.
What kid. What a week for the wide receivers. Everybody had their finger over the eject button on, like ready to push it, right? Started Thursday night with Drake London.
Time to get out.
My sell video drops on Friday where I said sell Drake London. Whoops. Garrett Wilson ready to hit the eject button on. Monster game today in London.
I was feeling like I was going to be out on a limb on the one waiting for Garrett Wilson because I just wasn't ready to quit yet. I wasn't going to expect this, but we'll talk about that game at the end here because that game has a good sign for Garrett Wilson, but also that offense is broken, my friend. In general, the Niners is a good. Today, by the way. What's that?
I got to get it in there while we're on the Niners. Brock Purdy played like shit.
He didn't play that great. But let's go to the Cardinals, who I guess didn't play that great, really. They also, I mean, it felt like the Niners were going to piss it away late. Is I guess what what you're saying, and guess what happened? They did piss it away late.
It's awesome.
It's kind of crazy watching that game, even as they were sneaking up and getting the score closer and closer. You're like, there's no way the Cardinals are going to win this game. There's no way the Cardinals are going to win this game. You keep thinking the whole time, and then Lo and behold, the Niners at 2-3, Mike. That one is kind of crazy. Cardinals needed this win. If the Cardinals go to 1-4 after this type of a performance, Mike, I think you're having some panic over there. This was a win that I think kind of covers up some major blunders this offense and team has been having this year.
Again, another game of teams taking away Marvin Harrison and them struggling to find a way to effectively get him the football.
Yep.
Marv is still really fucking good, man, but this is starting to scare the shit out of me. But from the Kyler perspective, bad passing game, couldn't get the ball to Marv. But you know what he does do? Welcome back fucking Kyler Murray to being fast as fuck.
How about when he throws that arm up when he knows he's got a 50-yarder to the house coming?
Dude's at the 40 already pointing.
Crazy.
Love it.
He must have known that it was just there was no safeties over there, nothing over there, and it was just that linebacker ain't got no chance, buddy.
7 for 83 on the ground today, and they were calling run plays for him in crunch time. when he needed it desperately.
No, I mean, and I think you should. I think if you limit him to under 10 a game, it's smart to use him on the ground. That dude is like a little he doesn't have the long speed, but he's got that quick burst, similar to a Tyreek Hill. He's like a water bug, in just short spaces. It's just jittery, and then I don't know. It's definitely hard to game plan for. I think on defensive side, what is not apparently hard to game plan for at all is keeping Marv outside of getting the football. It's just I don't know. The chemistry is not obviously we saw the outrageous first quarter. We've seen it in spurts. It just feels like overall though.
They haven't put a game together yet, a full game.
Obviously, that's fair. I mean, the first quarter of game versus whatever that was, the Rams, was a game in and of itself. But to your point, I mean, he's had touchdowns the last 2 weeks too, which has helped. But I don't know. I'm not overly concerned. I wouldn't be going out and panicking or anything. It just feels like the chemistry is a little bit not quite right, and it feels like sometimes the targets are forced. One of those targets on the sideline was that dude was draped. I mean, I get it. You're trying to get him the ball, keep throwing it to him, but I don't know. The chemistry's just not perfect. I don't know that it ever will be perfect, but James Conner,
steady Eddie.
I mean, it's like what you think of him in Dynasty. Whatever you think of him, that's exactly what he is. He just keeps producing despite what you feel and think about any of it. It just keep putting him in. Just keep playing him until he's hurt.
How many other running backs got a carry today for the Cardinals?
Remember that Trey Benson thing? Yikes.
0.
Remember that whole Trey Benson experience? We can move on from that.
Ooh, that was tough.
Michael Wilson on a few different catches looked really good today. I don't think it amounted to much in fantasy though overall, right?
5 for 78.
Okay, yeah. So it was solid. Solid little day. There was a couple of catches where he went up and got it too. Like he looks the part.
He looks the part, but he looks like he should be Juwan Jennings in this offense and not the number 2.
But unfortunately for whoever you feel for, he is getting that number 2 looks for sure. The Giants, Mike, without everything, it would seem. Your boy Tyrone Tracy, backfield to himself, huh?
Love to see it, man. Love to see it. Again, another highly owned player in Dynasty shares for me. Tyrone, man, went out there and cooked. And it was good, too, because it started off with a couple long Eric Gray.
Well, I was going to say,
screens, and I was
it was supposed to be to show? Himself because Eric Gray ends up, getting more work than you were hoping for. Yeah, but no, it was fine.
Yeah, Eric Gray shit the bed right after those 2 long receptions, and it was the Tyrone Tracy show, and he looked good. Now, the interesting thing is when Devin Singletary is back, how much of a backfield share is Tyrone Tracy going to get from Devin Singletary?
I have a bad feeling it gets relinquished to maybe not quite what it was, but close to that. Like he maybe earns a couple extra touches, but it's child's play.
I think we're hoping for spot starts from him, and we're probably hoping for like your standalone value is going to be like a 30% touch share.
Treat him like Zach Charbonnet, but it's a much cheaper version, honestly.
Much cheaper. Much cheaper. But he looked good when he touched the football too, man. Looked explosive,
sure.
looked comfortable running between the tackles, which is something that people always question him. But he looked really good out there. Kind of shit the bed on what was expected, right?
He had a touchdown, didn't he?
He did have a touchdown. He had 6 catches. They went for 36 yards.
Yeah.
Like this is what Sterling Shepard reincarnated in New York.
I'll just say it's better off for the offense when Malik's out there.
Definitely.
Just stop it if you think otherwise, please. We've seen this Dimes experience before. It's just it is what it is. One thing though, Mike, is this team getting the win by 9 points is about as unexpected as anything today for me personally.
Yes.
I'm not in the spot of betting a whole lot on any of the games, but if you would have told me what the spread was, I'm probably taking the Seahawks and laying the points. Tough game for them on the other side of the ball.
Dimes actually looked pretty good today too.
He did.
No Malik Neighbors. He was confident out there. He was running the football a little bit, converting third downs, and I think that was one of the big things that when we get to Seattle killed them is because at one point they were literally doubling them up going into the fourth quarter in time of possession.
Yeah, the possession was ridiculous.
The whole fucking game. Game.
I will say the one thing about Dimes, for a guy coming off the ACL, he just is running like there's no problems with that ligament, that knee. And he's certainly, if anything, not running like he's afraid of it at all. So,
yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of a day to forget for Seattle as a whole, really.
It was. I was pretty disappointed with Kenneth Walker, right? But fucking by halftime, they'd only given him 2 carries for 2 yards. And it wasn't like they were giving Charbonnet touches. They didn't have the ball. They weren't running it. They weren't really doing shit. The one thing I will say about Kenneth Walker that does make me feel a little bit rosy, especially after I just talked him up about how high you should rank him in Dynasty because of how explosive he is coming off that monster game last week.
7 catches?
The fact that they're 7 fucking catches for 57 yards when they're in trail mode, you know.
Yeah, well, he also had 4 catches the week prior too. So
it wasn't the pull Kenneth Walker and put Zach Charbonnet in there because we got to throw the fucking football. So you love to see that part, man.
No,
that's a nice floor for him. If you're going to tell me that he's going to have a 12, 13 point fantasy floor even on a bad week.
No, well, that's exactly the thing is he ended up being running back, 13 in PPR because he had that. If he was getting that treatment you talked about prior, we're in trouble here. We're in really bad finish mode. So really good to see that. Kind of move on from Seattle, or anyone else you want to talk about?
JSN salvaged his day with a touchdown, but he kind of got game planned out. DK Metcalf really got shut down on the outside too.
Yeah, DK. The only one I only have a DK hologram of a blow up, so I'm just not going to play it because we're not.
Yeah, that's fair. He doesn't deserve that one. Yeah, he kind of got shut down by Banks today, and JSN was you got a touchdown at least. It was a bad day all around for Seattle.
For sure. Now here's a good thing though, Mike. We've been kind of calling certain situations looking sketchy, and I think this blow up is kind of well deserved. So let's go ahead and let's just do it.
You got one?
Boom. Tank Bigsby, buddy.
Tank Bigsby with a blow up hologram.
When I first made this hologram, he literally didn't get enough touches to have it used. This was though, Mike. Man, people have been coming at me left and right, certain places about some of my takes and knowing ball and this and that. Like I kind of dunked on Travis Etienne a lot recently, and just saying how he's not really doing all that much with the work he's getting. The crazy part was they decided to not give him the running work. It was so bad, or at least this game they decided that was the case. 6 rushes, Mike, for Travis Etienne this week was probably something you didn't have on your bingo card, even if you were hating, right?
No. Tank Bigsby looks like the better back. And you remember way back when Thomas Tipple killed our entire stream by shitting on Travis Etienne for the fact that even in a bad year last year, a rookie year for Tank Bigsby, he was far more efficient and looked much better with his touches. I feel like that was the beginning of the end for me with Travis Etienne. Like when Thomas laid that heat, like I've always looked at Travis Etienne with this side eye. Yeah, I'm here for the fucking Tank Bigsby experience, man. I don't care that he doesn't catch the ball a whole lot out of the backfield, and that's still kind of Travis Etienne's job. Fucking let him have it. Let him have it. You want to establish the fucking run and have a dude run with physicality and be explosive like we thought Travis Etienne was going to be? It's Tank Bigsby, dude. Dude weighs number 4. I love what I see out of this fucking guy.
I mean, you're looking at it was 6. I think it was 6 touches or 6 rushes for 17 yards versus 13 carries for 101 and 2 tugs on the ground. And
give him fucking 20 carries next game, please.
The crazy thing is though, Mike. So remember, it was week 2 versus the Browns, and it's funny because I watched the entire game. After having 12 carries for 73 yards in week 1, he gets literally not a single carry in week 2. And you're like, what in the hell?
Why? Yeah, why?
But if you go back, if you kind of look at all of it, like the other thing is too, regardless of whether it's been 12, 13, 7, 2, every time his touches for the game, he's been averaging 6, 7, 12. All of his yards per carry. Now I know that's a old school stat, but he has been very good with the touches he's given. Now, how much of that is the offensive line and whatever, he's doing very well with the touches he's getting. So this week, I think RB1 right now. If the Travis Etienne owners weren't on notice, they're certainly going to have some discussions with themselves after this game.
So I wanted to point this out too, just an overarching theme, right? Through 4 weeks, we've been talking warp-wise, you and I having debates on it. We're talking about this in most people league. Quarterbacks had kind of been shit in the bed. Right, they kind of had been. And running backs had been through the fucking, running backs, we're so back. Week 5, man, first week of October, we get out of September. Offenses looked really, really good today. High-scoring games all across the board. Quarterbacks fucking balled out. Wide receivers balled out. Running backs, outside of, Mr. Tank Bigsby here, kind of pedestrian in the end, from what we've been experiencing. So,
well, the ones that finished.
Is this just a one-off, or do you think this is like, all right, we're fucking back, baby? We're back.
I mean, I think it was a good thing to see this from the quarterbacks. I'm curious to see how it affects Warp in 5 weeks in. I think the one thing though that I guess here's the thing about the running back position this week though relative to weeks prior. We'll see if this continues the trend. The trend that I'm seeing here, though, is that, okay, PPR finishes, right? top running backs. Ramondre Stevenson finishes as running back 3 when he was demoted, supposedly, to when he got benched. Okay, you got Trey Sermon, DeAndre Swift, Tank Bigsby, Chuba Hubbard, Chase Brown, Javonte Williams as top 10 running backs. So I think
it's a real who's list, huh?
But that's the thing. Like Dare's on that list, man. Like this is what happens though as the season progresses. It's not necessarily that the running back position isn't scoring the greatest. It's more so that it's the names that you can't predict. It's just any of these bodies start scoring. So if that ends up being the case over and over for the running back, that I think is where the value starts to completely leave the position. Because people, if this scoring is what happened, Mike, but it's Travis Etienne, it's all the names everybody wants to see and knows, we have no problems with the running back position. Everyone's back in. When it starts being this list, though, you get 7 names in the top 10. They're like, huh? That's when I think the running back values really start getting scary. Which is to this question, trade a mid to late first for Brooks. I mean, in 10-team, I lean a little more into running backs, but I'm still probably not doing this. I don't know. What are you doing here?
No, because I think there's going to become a time where his value is even worse. Right? Yeah. Everybody still is going to give him the pass, and I don't think a lot of deals are going to be done, but there's a good, like 30%, 40% chance that when he does come back and he looks a little slow or he looks a little rusty and it's taken him a little bit to come off this ACL injury and get acclimated to the NFL, where people will be like, I told you he was junk. Like, I never liked him. This RB class was shit or whatever it is. That's kind of when I want to start sniffing around. I don't want to do it right now.
Yep. The offense for Jacksonville has been it's been broken. Brian Thomas, though, people have been talking about he's loading. He's a big play waiting to explode. He's always going to be that. This dude is a freak of nature. But that 85-yard TD today, Mike, was like the ball was underthrown. He was gone off the line of scrimmage from jump. It was just that was a very easy 85-yard TD. So,
oh man, we're underplaying it. Oh no, Adam.
No, I'm not underplaying it at all. I'm saying that was ridiculous. He's got more of these coming. I'm saying that was ridiculous. Okay. Like
that wasn't even a good one.
No, I'm saying for that to be an 85-yard touchdown, like he burnt his man off the line of scrimmage. The ball wasn't even thrown on time, and he still walked into the end zone. Right. Like I'm giving him his props. I'm not underplaying it. I'm telling you. I think there's going to be problems still with this offense, and if those plays continue to happen. But Mike, I mean, this guy, every single touch is a guy that can take it to the house. There's no way to deny his upside. It's just really a matter of if the targets continue to come like this, and if they do, he's a fire it up every single week, set it and forget it.
I'm extremely bullish on Brian Thomas Jr. now after this one. I talked with Fizz on Friday about it, and we were doing slashers, like those dudes who can change the game at each position, and Brian Thomas was on my list for the one thing, Adam. I love what I saw so far early in the season, and you and I had kind of talked about this at different times, right? The target volume, they were targeting him like an alpha.
Yeah, last 2 weeks before this, for sure.
There wasn't any of these big explosive plays down the field. It was just ridiculous target volume. It was more like Michael Pittman Jr.-esque, right? Like that kind of short, intermediate stuff, but a fuck ton of targets. And we were always kind of wondering, man, if the big plays don't come, like what happens when Evan Ingram's fully healthy and Christian Kirk, et cetera? Like what is that target volume? And I think that was a fair question. But the reason I put him on there on Friday night that I loved the potential is because I hadn't seen any of these big plays yet. But it's the one thing I definitely know this motherfucker could do coming out of college because he led the entire country last year in doing it with Jaden Daniels. So to see him get his first one and still retain that target volume, like big fucking things are in store for Brian Thomas Jr. as long as Trevor Lawrence takes something from this game and plays more like this Trevor Lawrence, ish, instead of the Trevor Lawrence we'd seen for the last 9 fucking losses in a row that he had. But
yeah, I mean, Lawrence is certainly a concern, but this was a great game to see for Brian Thomas, no questions.
Onto the T-Law thing, I ain't like fully back yet.
No,
so,
I'm not.
Ideally, I would love to take this opportunity to fucking sell Trevor Lawrence when he just played a really shitty pass defense for the Colts in a high-scoring game.
I am largely convinced that opportunity does not currently exist. Chris wanted to give you a little shout out how you said to go ahead and sell CMC if you're rebuilding for a first and a second. Some people were a little more hesitant, like maybe we should just wait until he comes back.
I feel like me and Chris need to hang out in person because we have this real love-hate relationship on the
internet.
y'all.
That's what type of relationship Chris retains from everybody. My brother-in-law, shout him out.
We're hot, then we're cold. We're then we're no.
It's a good thing. That means that it's working. Speaking of working, I don't even know. I guess, Mike, I felt like I had to. I didn't really want to, but I told you the next time that this whole Antoine Pierce thing happened that
you would do it.
Yeah, so I guess yes. I kind of have to. Is that the way it works?
Yes.
I don't really want to, but here it is. All right, Antoine
Pierce, baby.
Joe Flacco. Let me ask you this: is Joe Flacco on his way to mess some things up as far as the way that the quarterback positions? No, I'm not saying he's going to take the job. I'm saying in his view, like if Joe Flacco plays well and continues to play well for another game or so, goes back to A-Rich, he's playing. Obviously, they're going back to him, but if he plays poorly, there's that weird sentiment of like, why isn't it working with the young chosen one? It's what he unintentionally left in Cleveland. I think it's what he unintentionally could leave here in Indy if A-Rich doesn't get his fucking act together.
That's true, man. That's true. They're definitely going back to Anthony Richardson.
No, they're not keeping Flacco out there. That's not what I was suggesting. I'm talking more the little bit of stank around the situation.
It was kind of a weird one too with Joe Flacco, because we look at the final box score, we look at the line. Antoine Pierce now up here. We look at the final line and you go, "Oh, Joe Flacco, man, just went out there and just fucking slinged it all over the place. I love Joe Flacco," and I get it, Adam. But by about halftime, I'm sitting there and I'd been watching that game, and I said, "Man, I think Anthony Richardson is comfortably in the lead here, like in dominating the fucking Jaguars." Joe Flacco did not look good in the first half. Like it was very pedestrian. He was throwing some balls where I was like, "What the fuck are you doing, man?" That was like, we bitch about Anthony Richardson, Joe Flacco out here doing the same shit, but he's a good story, so nobody tweeting about the hate for it.
Well, and then you get to the fourth fucking quarter. His expectations aren't the same either, though, right? Like,
yes. I mean, think about it. He scored 10 fucking points. The Colts scored 10 points in the first half, right? And they're losing to the Jaguars. Like the winless Jaguars. They're losing to the Jaguars, and it doesn't look like they're actually in this fucking game. They don't really do shit in the third. And then the fourth quarter, Joe Flacco comes out and puts up 24 fucking points, a couple deep balls, bombs. Can we even say that anymore? Is the NFL going to fine me for using a violent term?
They're going to fine
That's some bullshit, dude. By the way, close your eyes, right? Look how aggressive this is. Oh, look, finger guns.
Oh, my gosh.
Just throw a flag.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
But we look at the end and, like, we feel very good about Joe Flacco. And it's a fun story. It is. But, like, come on. Let's not get fucking crazy here, man. It's Anthony Richardson's job. I will say, to your point, though, Adam, he's going to ruin it for a lot of these fucking fans, a lot of these, people who are always in love with backup quarterbacks, who fucking hate their starting quarterback, who started quarterback goes out there and does stupid shit. It happens, man. I mean, I love Jordan Love to death. Jordan Love got the dub today, but that interception he threw in the fucking end zone, the pick six,
yikes.
Like, if that was Anthony Richardson doing that, we'd fucking roast him to no end about it. So it's nice to see Flacco step in, and it's kind of crazy to think that Joe Flacco, of all people, coming from Baltimore, seeing him being shit in Denver, he was a Jet for a little bit.
Well, it's also impressive. The timeline is really kind of eerie. He's checking all the boxes because if you don't know, the Ravens were the Browns, so he destroyed the Browns as a Raven, then had to go play for, though, go check the box, play for the Browns. Let me give you a little, for those that don't know, the Baltimore Colts, okay? He's going and checking all the boxes back in time, like before he leaves and exits. The Baltimore Colts, the Baltimore Ravens, Joe Flacco will be a man that tells no time. He doesn't age. He just balls. Let's get to this one. DJ Moore. The whole Bears offense, a lot different than some of these other weeks, right?
Wow, it was so fun to just watch people lose their fucking minds in panic on Caleb Williams. Yeah. So much.
For sure.
It felt so good. It felt so good, man. Now, Jaden Daniels is still QB1, all right? He always has been. He probably always will be. But all that Caleb Williams panic just went out the fucking window. And Matty called it, talking about it on the podcast this week with him and Cody, by the way. Go check out the podcast feed, South Harmon Fantasy Football. They were talking about it. DJ Moore didn't look the most enthused out there. He didn't look like he was the most involved. He looked fucking enthused and involved today, baby. He looked like he earned that contract.
Very much so. And there was, it was versus the Panthers, but sometimes though, Mike, and it's not going to be this way every week for Caleb. So it is what it is in that scenario. But I think also, even though it was versus the lowly Panthers defense, there was sometimes you just need to see a free throw go in. Sometimes you need to see some things go right to continue to play that way versus other defenses. I think this could end up being a turning point for him in this offense. I'm not going to act like it. I won't be surprised if it goes back to. Let me say this. I'm not going to be surprised if it takes a step backwards. I'll be surprised if it goes all the way back to terrible offense. But I think this is going to be a building block for this offense at minimum. So DJ Moore was at the forefront of it.
I think these last couple of weeks, Caleb Williams has figured out the speed of the NFL and he looks much more comfortable, right? He knows when he can tactically scramble. He knows what moves he can get away with. And now he's just out there. He's feeling a lot more relaxed, a lot more comfortable. And to your point, it is the Panthers, so don't take it like he's gonna do this every single week. But I really like what I saw from him. And to your point about seeing the ball go in the net at him, like I think that first dot that he threw to fucking DJ Moore that was like 6 on the board. Yeah. I think after that it was like, yeah, I can do this shit.
Yeah,
I am him.
Right, and sometimes you hit like if you hit like a deep one, all of a sudden it's like, okay, all right, I'm gonna start really letting it fly now.
Because I'm feeling it today.
It was that way, Mike. I'll tell you this one though, like obviously the matchup is what it is, but I think people were skeptical to see Swift go out 2 weeks in a row and kind of put together the week he did. And this was also with Roshan taking at least one touchdown. Right?
He got fucked out of that touchdown.
Dude, I was actually kind of curious to see if more would come of it. Now, they're winning so much that I don't think it did. He was visibly upset after getting pulled, and I'm like, damn, like you better chill, family, because offenses and teams don't like to see if Roshan goes in and scores, you over there pouting after you didn't score, right? So
fuck that, man. You should have pouted. But listen, he got him down there.
I saw. He earned every piece of it. Yeah.
He scored the fucking touchdown, but it got called back on illegal formation or whatever the fuck it was.
And then he went down to the half-yard line.
The second one, I also thought he got in the end zone, but they ruled him down.
And they weren't going to challenge it. There was no reason
They weren't going to fucking challenge it. Like, the dude literally scored 2 touchdowns in a row, and then they're like, get out. Roshan's coming in. We're going to punch it in with him.
I'm not saying he can't I'm not saying he can't feel like a human being. I'm saying you don't show it visibly to the sidelines because – when Roshan comes scores, everyone's going to be dapping him up, and when you're over there pouting, that's not a good look. But it didn't matter because he continued to get all the work.
As Roshan is running out of the field, he should have just fucking Nancy carried him. Just fucking took his knee out.
Now, like, the best part is
do now?
See, the best part is I know Mike's a guy that played football, and this is where I know the drink must be low on beverage and high on ice left, because. That's cap. That's bait.
Take him out. Fuck it.
I know you ain't doing that shit. I'm moving past the Panthers. I don't want to talk about it. We saw Bryce Young again.
I do want to talk about it.
Chuba.
Andy Dalton's fucking him. But then the calendar changed to October, and all of a sudden,
what did I tell you guys? What did I tell? I try to tell you guys. I try to tell you guys. There's a very clear clock striking midnight. And we named him this. So
Bryce Young starting for the Panthers next week?
I'm not doing that, but
okay.
But
I also said go Bryce Young because he's going to start fucking games for the Panthers again this year. I say yes.
Okay, here's the thing. Even if you did, let's say you bought cheap and he needs a reset. He needs a team reset for this to mean anything in points. I'm pretty confident that going back out there as a number 1 overall pick in relief time to Dalton, that for a guy that seems like he had some needing to get some things right upstairs, he needs a change of scenery, buddy. Now, if someone ended up trading for him or something like that, that'd be kind of interesting.
I got to point out one fun fact too.
Okay.
We're out here watching Jalen Coker do shit before Javon Baker and Troy Franklin ever fucking has done anything on the NFL field through 5 weeks. I love to see it, man. All the people hyping those fucking Turnberger 4th round draft picks up like they were going to be something.
Speaking of which, we had a Keon Coleman sighting.
We had a tutty.
We had a one catch. We had a bomb. 1 catch, 49-yard tutty, right? Then
he's on the heater, man. That's 2 weeks in a row with 1 catch, 1 touchdown.
The crazy part, though, then late in the game, the Bills had the ball in the end zone, basically. Really late, trying to figure out something. They throw a first down. They throw just a jump ball to Keon Coleman on the left side, and he goes and tries to be a Keon and gets a nice offensive pass interference.
Right.
So
that
was
ball,
fun.
by the way.
What's that?
Josh Allen played like shit.
He did. I mean, he did, but like, come on, Keon. You get no separation, and then you have to body the guy so bad that you get fucking called for it. Come on. Jeez almighty. The thing with Keon is, I think you can literally see the upside, but this is going to be a roller coaster that you probably don't want to really be buckled into for this season, I think. Buddy.
If you ain't feeling it or you had doubts about him, sell him. Sell him off the 40-yard touchdown. Really, in reality, because you're going to be perennial disappointed and you're going to be hating everybody who's touting Keon. Like, just get rid of him, make yourself happy. I still want Keon on there.
I just don't think this year is the year. Yeah, I think he's gonna. I think he's developing, and he will be the guy that. I think he has the opportunity to be the guy in Buffalo, but I just feel like it's going to be a little bit of a process with him developing. I'm not panicked about his long term, but I don't think this short term is something you should be really betting on too heavily. The Texans end up winning the game. This kind of wasn't a game really that you loved for fantasy, except for Cam Akers. People told me he's dead, and I mean, rightfully so. Okay, rightfully so. But Mike, I mean, the guy ended up in the end zone, and of course, how is it not working? Of course, it's not working. I had it up before. Damn it!
That hologram blew an Achilles.
Yeah, at least one. He doesn't have any anymore. They're all fake.
It was. The Texans started off hot. You had that deep bomb.
I was gonna say so that I'm curious for you. Let's put him up since Akers won't load. Of course, Akers won't load. If this guy's missing time, level of concern for this offense.
A little bit, too. And here's the thing, man. Tank Dell was back fully healthy. I started him this week, too, thinking, like, I might get something out of him. And then Nico goes out with a hammy, and I'm like, all right, Tank Dell, time to shine.
Yeah,
nah.
Yeah, that in particular, Money Moves is off to a great start, but one in particular, buying Tank Dell from Brian Thomas to get a plus is not looking very well. And Tank Dell, Mike, is... We'll see. It's still very early, but I'm just saying I haven't seen shit out of Tank Dell. I need to see something.
Let me just add, I'm not a medical expert, okay, but I'm putting the pieces together, right? Like, I'm putting them all together. So Tony Pollard gets hip drop tackled. Obviously misses 2 years ago. Last year, it took him forever to look like Tony Pollard again, right?
Yeah.
Mark Andrews, hip drop tackled last year, snaps his ankle. Takes him forever to look like. I mean, we still haven't seen it yet.
He's not looking like himself. I don't know if he will be this year.
Luke Lachey, my favorite Iowa tight end of all time, still hasn't looked like Luke Lachey yet, and he got hip drop tackled, shattered his ankle last year.
Not even
Tank
close,
Dell
dude.
did not get hip drop tackled, but he shattered his ankle when they rolled into it on the fucking goal line because they thought it was a great idea to use him as an inline blocker for whatever reason. Is there something to these fractured ankles, man, that takes these dudes a long time to come back? I mean, Dak Prescott for a while there, remember when he is gruesome.
Still,
his following year, he looked terrible.
And even still, like, Dak hasn't never run ever like that ever again.
And he's just now starting to. Like, he's just now starting to get back to a little bit more.
He can, but even then, like, you're starting to see him at least have the but he's still never going to run like he once did. I'm not saying he's not getting closer.
I'm just asking for just in general, like as football fans, for everybody in here, do we know of anybody who's fractured their ankle, who's immediately come back like the next season and look like themselves? Like, I'm having a hard time visualizing.
Mark Andrews. I'll just say Mark Andrews, and they talked about it quite a bit in the first game. Ravens, who were they playing? I think it was primetime, was it not? because likely went off week 1. I'm trying to remember who they play. Anyway, they talked about it. Yeah, Kansas City. There you go. They talked about it a lot in that game where it was it was extremely hard for him to come back from. He had to rely on his family and doing all that training, and obviously, all that is still not got him anywhere near to full speed. I think. I kind of feel like you don't really need to have much more of an answer. There's enough out there. Maybe you get an outlier, but we have enough sample size to say like even when you're healthy afterwards, it takes time for your body to acclimate.
I kind of feel like I had a shit ton of Tank Dell love, and I feel like if he still holds a decent amount, like I don't know what his trade market is in all honesty. Adam,
I highly doubt he's carrying. I highly doubt he's carrying the anywhere near the weight. People are so overreactionary in this game. This is a player that doesn't have the draft capital, that doesn't have like the check marks. So it just, to your point, if you can, what is that, by the way?
Do you think you can get a mid to early second out of him?
Probably
first. I think
you're no, gosh, no, you're not getting first.
But here's the thing:
you might be able to
like,
get a mid second, or a team that's a contending second.
Is it a good move for me to sell him for a mid to early second? Pocket that second right now, and then if I still do believe in the talent of Tank Dell in this offense with C.J. Stroud.
So do I.
But is this something like week 10, week 12, week 13? When we get towards the end of the season, if I buy back in,
I've always been of the mindset with Tank.
Be lower.
I've been of the mindset with Tank, and I guess this is the problem with it now is like, if Tank has a slow year this year, I can see it, but I'm not panicked on his long term. However, like that's not how Dynasty gamers are going to treat it. They're going to freak out. They're going to freak out like no one has ever freaked out before. Because you can't have a year off. That's just not how it works. Especially he doesn't have a contract. He's young. Doesn't have the draft capital. Doesn't have the size. There's plenty of reasons to put his value down. So, we got to see something out of him, man. I don't like to be overreactionary, but now I'm to the point where I'm going to start pushing all that narrative to the side because we got 5 weeks in, dude. Like, now it's time to stop, like, pussyfooting around. Like, we got 5 weeks that says you haven't done shit. If you haven't done shit in 5 weeks, I got a sample size that's big enough. Like, it's time to panic a little bit. So,
nut up or shut up.
The Broncos as a whole, I don't really have holograms for, but Bo Nix quietly has this team with a over 500 record, 3-2, right? And I tell you what, man, they like say what you want about the situation, who they're playing today. I mean, the Raiders are a
dumpster fire.
The Raiders are in trouble. Let's just call it what it is.
I try to tell people Gardner Minshew fucking sucks, but nobody listened to me. So
we've known it though. Like I don't know that Aiden O'Connell is a better option, but that's just to show you, regardless of whether it is or not, that this team is in a fucking shambles, buddy. Like I think most people have known it, but maybe don't want to admit it aloud for whatever reason. They're in shambles. They are in shambles.
I like the personality of Antonio Pierce, and you love what you saw last year, but I don't think this dude makes it out of this year with the job.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's setting up for him to have a bad season with no future, certain. Like, there's nothing about the situation for the Raiders moving forward that we feel good about with certainty, other than, I guess, Brock Bowers, but a tight end.
2 players.
Yeah, well.
2 players, right. Max Crosby on defense.
Sure, Max Crosby too. Sure. But, Mike, Max Crosby, yeah, that's a player that's a cornerstone player. Like, listen, I'm not saying Brock Bowers isn't a great talent. It could be the best tight end in the league for years to come. People don't care about building around a tight end, though, in the NFL, really. Like, that's not, He's been great, though, for fantasy, for Dynasty. I've been telling you, though, like, you're not going to keep his value is not going to go any higher than it is now. He's peaked out.
I'm still selling him.
Love to see it, though. I mean, let me ask you right now.
He mossed the shit out of that dude on that catch.
That catch was outrageous today. Pretty sweet.
Awesome.
Pretty sweet. But, I mean, listen, he was tight end 2, and the only reason he was not tight end 1 this week was because Tucker Kraft went bananas. But
Tucker Kraft exists.
Brock Bowers got 12 targets today. I mean, he could end up being very exciting in Dynasty. It's exactly why you sell him. Anything else on this offense that mattered is, I think, nothing really did. No, it didn't.
Bo Nix is pleasantly surprising, even though last week was terrible. This week, back to kind of good Bo. Like good Bo, bad Bo. And I love that him and Sean Payton are getting into it on the sideline. He's probably saying something like, "Can you get me some fucking receivers?" I'm tired of throwing to little Jordan Humphrey. This is fucking bullshit.
You guys drafted Troy because you thought I would like it. No, I threw it to him enough in college. I think he stinks. Stop it.
I could have told you he was shit.
Let's get to the London game and we can finish this thing because that's the last one. Okay, Mike, let's talk about this. The Jets as a whole. This Nathaniel Hackett thing is becoming more and more clear. Like, the way he just is a problem, not a solution for offenses, in my personal opinion. But, like, he just follows Aaron Rodgers around everywhere. It just is so – this offense is lacking innovation. It's lacking everything, man. It's killing Breece Hall. I think you're even seeing, like, in his snapshots getting cut more and more to Braylon Allen. All for the more Braylon Allen he gets work, it's like they're not creating lanes. They're not creating – there's nothing good happening in this offense aside from today, Garrett Wilson getting 22 fucking targets because there's just nothing else to do.
I think it's the lowest I saw it on Twitter, the lowest receiving yards for a dude who's had 22 targets since Devontae Adams had 25 targets with Aaron Rodgers in a Nathaniel Hackett offense. They have
a type, huh?
They have a fucking type. Good for Garrett Wilson, though. I'm glad. Listen, you can't knock the target volume. Massive blow up. Gives us all hope for Garrett Wilson, even though he's got shitty sleeves. Adam, his sleeves are still longer than yours, and you got the retail version.
I got the old number. See, here's the thing. I got the old number, and I got the old sleeves. Garrett, like, the number 5's sick. I get it. Why are we doing a long sleeve thing, though? Nah. Like, what are we doing? It doesn't look good on anyone but a quarterback, dude. It just doesn't.
Here's the thing about Hackett. He dick rode what Aaron Rodgers did when he was in Green Bay. And then he goes to Denver and just looks like a shit show. Last year with no Aaron Rodgers, it looked like a shit show. And this year we're finding out that Aaron Rodgers, age at 40 isn't that good anymore. Sorry, not sorry. He's not. I fucking tweeted out, can we please get Zach Wilson back to the fucking Jets? Aaron Rodgers looks like shit.
They did very much like football has, right? There's the back and forth, and there's the ebb and the flow. And, like, you kind of could feel that even though it wasn't going to be really fun to watch, that the Jets were going to have a little bit of a momentum shift. That momentum shift, I think, kind of diluted or died down the picks and how bad how bad he looked early on. All for him to finish the game off, turning the ball over again too. Now, granted, he's making a play to a guy he knows and putting it just up for harm. He put it in harm's way. So, like, that one's a little different. But it's just, Mike, I think the reality is this team on offense still, especially with the play calling, like, Aaron Rodgers is not talented enough anymore to overcome that. Like, Aaron Rodgers in the past was talented enough, I think, to overcome all the other garbage crap around him for the most part. He is not that player anymore. And this team really, to be completely truthful, Garrett Wilson's performance is just completely gonna, for fantasy and game watchers and stat watchers, cover up a completely musty smell that's disgusting. This offense is bad. Yep. Dude, Breece Hall went from, just think about this, Breece Hall went from winning leagues by country miles with catches and outrageous usage and going any play he could take 20, 30, 50 yards. This dude seemingly can't get any plays to go past 5, and if they do, everyone's going, oh my gosh, can you look at Breece Hall? Like,
I love it.
It's crazy.
The Nathaniel Hackett game plan for a game in London versus one of the best defenses in the league was to have shitty-ass Aaron Rodgers throw the ball 54 fucking times and hand the ball off to Breece Hall 9 times.
It's just all of it. Like,
love it.
There's no like innovation. There's no design runs that are any different. It's like very simple, hand the ball off, let Breece Hall go do his thing, not creating any yards for him or like any separation, any blocking. You have for the offense, all these targets to Garrett Wilson too, they're not creative either. They're like 10, 15 yards is a great depth of target for him right now. He's getting just check downs a lot of times. It's stupid.
On the plus note, on the other side,
yeah,
Sam Darnold, another Mr. September, turned into a pumpkin again. Who knew? Adam, Let me ask you now. We're in week 5. Is there any doubt in your mind this is J.J. McCarthy's fucking job in 2025?
Yeah, I do. Go only because it was London. Now he comes out and does the same thing again. All right, okay. We're gonna have more Sam Darnold. I think we have plenty more Sam Darnold hate to get to this year. It's a long year, but I don't know. The London games in particular, in general, just end up being kind of weird. Yeah, so I'll give him. I'm not gonna give him a pass, but I'm gonna give him, in his overall viewpoint, a pass. This game was not very exciting in general. It's one of those where, like, why am I waking up today? Why'd you get me up? Not that I'm not already up, but, like, why do I have to come pretend like I want to watch this game? It's just, by 11 o'clock, you want to turn it off, you know?
Well, I want to say by 8:30 my time, so 9:30 Eastern, Adam, I was already on the bike hitting the workout for the day, like, and then went and sat in the sauna for 30 minutes. Like, I didn't give a whole lot of fucks about this game. I had it on, just didn't really fucking care. I was like, oh, God, how I didn't miss these fucking London games early in the morning.
And Ty Chandler got a lot of work today because Aaron Jones gets hurt.
This offense might be fucked if Aaron Jones is out for
what's the sitch? What's the sitch with Aaron Jones? I've been trying to monitor it, but I don't have much.
I'm gonna guess it's a fucking hip pointer. That's kind of what it looked like, but
that's not good.
Don't really know for sure.
That's not good for his, like, injuries in general aren't good for his age. Concussion or something random, like, you're gonna come back from. Hip pointer, like, I don't know. He's of his age. He's getting up there for hip pointers and stuff like that. Like last year, what was his injury last year? He ended up kind of looking shitty for the majority of the season, and then he finished very well because of injury. But I hope it's nothing serious because, Mike,
the latest report I got is, despite leaving today's game with a hip injury, Aaron Jones is expected to be able to play in Week 7 after their bye.
Okay. Because we got Ham in the end zone. I mean, it's it's not what you want to see for fantasy, buddy.
No one does.
It's not.
I was gonna say, at least my dad's in here. He's an absolute wreck. His Dolphins look fucking terrible, rightfully so. But at least the rest of the AFC East all looks like shit too. Every single fucking.
The AFC East is right back to where we thought it would be without Brady, and that's yikes.
The AFC least.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you though, like, just speaking, you know, I like McDaniel as a personality. He's fun, dude. We got no fucking real plan for no Tua Tagovailoa, and this offense looks like ass cheeks with no Tua.
I mean, I'll say
does McDaniel make it out of the fucking season alive?
Yeah, I think he does. And that's just because I feel like it's just amazing to me though they win this game, right? 15-10. Like, they're actually doing an interview with they're actually
even worse.
Yeah, but they're actually doing like an interview with Snoop Huntley. He's over there like kind of nervously playing with his hands, waiting for the interview to start. Like, I don't deserve to be up here. What are we doing? Like, why am I getting asked questions? Like, stop this. I guess
you know who deserved to be out there? Jalen Wright. What up, Jalen Wright?
Well, listen, sad trombone for Aaron Jones, but Mike, that's all we got, man. Week 5 is in the books. Bye weeks are not over. Injuries are not over. And hopefully, with those things being said, you're not like Aaron Rodgers and your season looks to be over and cooked. We hope you're not done yet, because
we good too. Like,
it's starting to.
Cowboys Steelers game ain't even kicked off yet.
Bro, it's starting to. Buddy, I have some teams that are still really good, but like, you're starting to feel week by week like, all right, we're stringing along wins and sneaking stuff out, but we're getting thin in the bullpen, buddy. You know, like it's not feeling the greatest anymore.
Cooper tried to trade me. Luckily for this guy, he sent me one early this morning. Like, he was looking through teams or whatever. He's trying to sell his Joe Flacco on a rebuilder, and he's looking at one of my teams, and he goes, you don't even have a quarterback for the week. So I'm like, oh, that seems like a big deal. So I go look at this basketball league, and of course I don't have a quarterback. Everybody's hurt or on bye. And then I look at the matchup, and I'm projected to lose by 100 anyway. So I'm like, I'm good. I'll just keep the fucking pick, Koopa. Thanks for Joe Flacco. Wasn't gonna save this week for me anyways.
Joe Flacco might save the Browns, he might save the Colts, but he ain't saving me. So We love you guys. Appreciate it. 7 GOAT rings. Appreciate it. We see, listen, man, this guy's always out here fleecing people. He just had enough time to stop by and say what's up, Mr. Wonderful. We appreciate everyone's tapping in. We will see you back here, same time, same place, for week 6 next week, regardless of how much things get off the rails. We're out of this thing. Peace.